Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to study about ASP.NET, how to create the ASP.NET application or the website using Visual Studio, and uh, all the details about all the created files and the folders by the ASP.NET project when we create the project. So ASP.NET, first of all, ASP stands for the active server pages, that is backend programming. We can develop the server pages and for the client request to how to give the response, and you can design the websites using ASP.NET. So to create an web application using ASP.NET, just we are going to create it using Visual Studio 2013. This is the window of Visual Studio 2013. So just go to the file menu, go to the new, then select. You can have two options, so project and a website. So you can select a website also to create a website using ASP.NET, or we will select, first of all we will go through the project. So in a templates you will get the various programming language supported for the ASP.NET. So we are doing through C sharp, and in a C sharp we have to select the web template. So in a web template, automatically you will get the ASP.NET web application. So here we have to give the name of the application. So I will give it as a sample web app. So you can give any name as per your so here we have to select uh, a template. That is, if you want to create an empty website, you can selecting empty, you can create an empty website. If you want to create the website based on the Windows forms, web forms, you can select it. If you want to develop a website using model view controller system, you can select the MVC. If you want to select the application programming interface using the ASP.NET, just select. If you want to create a single page website, you can create using the single page application. And these are the new cloud-based application systems added to the Visual Studio. So we'll start with the web forms. Just don't select anything, just press OK. So it's creating. Normally it is a server-side programming. It provides us to develop an application to give the response for the users client request. So this is our project, a sample web. You can see here a sample web application, and these are the various folders and the files created by your ASP.NET project. So just we will run first your application. So to execute our ASP.NET project, we need to choose a browser. We are executing our ASP.NET applications or websites through the web browsers. So by default we have selected the ASP.NET web applications. It has created so application, and these are the default program from that particular project. You can see the name of the application, so home, about, and the contact. These are the things they have already by default they have added to ASP.NET web application. So here you can see all the things. First of all, the most important thing, whenever we are going to create any ASP.NET project, it creates various lot of folders and files related to that project. And to run that application, here we have to choose the browser from in which browser you want to execute your your website. If you want to see your output, so here already I have selected the Google Chrome. So whenever I will run my application, it will be displayed in a Google Chrome. So most important thing is the default. Whenever we are creating any web application, each and every project and the web application comes with the default ASPX file, that is ASP files. So here in this default file you can see the various coding. This is the coding. Now whenever you will select project, you will get, whenever double click on ASP default ASPX, you will get these three menus: design menu, split menu, and the source menu. The source menu will provide you only the source code for that particular web page. The split will provide you the splitting window for the code as well as your design, and the design option will show you only the design part of your web application or your website. So this is our by default output. So if you want to make a changes, you can make a change to the design also. So we'll change to the source code. Now if you want to design using a source code, you need to be better in a HTML and the CSS. So ASP, so we will print the message as a welcome to the ASP.NET world. So just save it, just go to your browser and refresh your browser. So it's unavailable, so just run your application freshly. So here is the message that we have added through our source window, that welcome to the ASP.NET project. So whenever we will create a project in a Visual Studio of the ASP.NET, it will create the various files and folders. You can see this is our project name, that we have sample web application that we have given. So these are the various, so the all the properties assembly related information of your project is maintained into a property file. Then the references, the which runtime environment we are using, which libraries we are referencing, all these things, all the information related with the framework are used or stored in references. So account information in an account folder, it contains all the information about the login on a server and all the credential details of all the passwords. All these things have been maintained into account folder. The application data folder is used to maintain all the data, means your database files, your local database files, your XML files, all these things, all the database related operations and all those files are maintained into application data file. So then app start folder contains all the C# programs related for the application start and the management. After executing your application, how to manage, how to manage the root of this particular application, all these programs related with the execution of this particular application are maintained into a app start folder. So the next we have a content folder. So content folder contains all the decoration part, means all the images that you have displayed on your websites, all the bootstraps, all the CSS files for the decoration of a HTML. If you have this kind of files in your project, so all those files will be added into a content folder. So bootstrap and the CSS, a CSS is used to decoration purpose of your HTML pages, and the bootstrap provides you the online various tools and the various decorative things for each and every control on your web page. So the font folder contains all the font related information of your project, and the model folder is used to store the class files which are used to store the domain data. The model folder is used to maintain all the class files which are used to store the domain data, as well as all the logic of that particular data, how to manage that data into an application, and all these things are managed or are stored into the model folder. Whereas the script folder contains all the JavaScript files, all the bootstrap JavaScript files, all the jQuery files related with your web application. All these scripting files of your project are maintained into script. Then these are the various forms, contact form, the about form, the default, which is by default, and the next file is we have to discuss about, that is our global file. So the global ASAX file allows us to write a code which we want to run at the application level, such as if you want to write the application a request for the begin of your application, if you want to display the errors, if you want to start your application, if you want to start your session, if you want to end your session, all these kind of a code is written into global file. So you can see this is the code which is by default have created for the global CS file. So from where to start the application, how to bundle the configuration, how to root that application, all these things are added into global file. And the most important file of each and every web application is the web config file, which is used, one of the most useful and the most important file, which is used for the configuration of your application, on what on which port, on which host, on which web server, how to execute this file. All these kind of related information of your web application is managed into web configuration file. And the package config file, which contains all the packages related or the used for this particular web application. So these are the various by default files created by the ASP.NET project when we create a. So just now, if you want to make a change to your window, you can use here through this. So this is the by default application. So and by executing on this Google Chrome, so I have selected Google Chrome, it will run that application. So how to create a empty website, how to create a empty website using uh, Visual Studio in ASP.NET. So just in a file menu, go for the website or go for in a project, select a C sharp. Here you will get the option with the name of ASP.NET website. So I will repeat, this is the next method. Last time we have created the project, and from the project also you can select a empty website. So directly also you can create a website by selecting website. In a template, select Visual C sharp, go for an empty website and give here name of your empty website as I will give it as a sample. So now you can see this is your sample website, and it has nothing because we have created a empty website. Now if you want to design, add the forms to your website, just right click on your website name, go to the add and add the web forms. So by default it will create a web form with the name of default ASPX, so we will keep it as it is. So to design your window, to design your application, to design your website, you can use two ways or three ways, three options. A design by drag and drop system, you can design by the split, you can see the code as well as the design part of your web application or your website. And in source, if you are good in HTML, you can go through the source window also by directly designing, by creating a web page using HTML. So we will create using, first we will add the heading tag as h1, and this is the best example, hello world. So just here you can select any web browser. So just start Google Chrome by selecting. So you can see now port number is changed, now it's 2056 and the default is hello world. So now you can add another code to your web page also by here, by using the next heading as I will use at h2, first ASP.NET project. Also you can use the paragraph to give the details. First ASP.NET tutorial. So just to save it, again run your application. Now again you can see. So this is how we can design a web application or a website using ASP.NET. So this is using the source window we are designing. So here we can use a split window. You can see this is the code that we have added, and now we will add one label. So if I will double click on a label, it will add the label into design window, and automatically it has created and a code for that label into my source code. Now I will add the button. Now you can see. So just I have clicked on this, so we'll delete it. So control Z. Okay, so just here I will add the button in a design part. So you can see, so automatically it has added the code for that particular. Normally you can use the design window directly also. Now we will add the one calendar. So you can see this is your calendar. So just to save it, we will try to run this application. So whether it is this, so this is how level 1 we have a button, we have a calendar. So this is how we can design an web site or a web application using ASP.NET. So these are the three possibilities. Using design, you can design. Using split, you can code, as well as you can design. And within the source, if you are good in a or the HTML part, so you can directly code for that particular web application or that particular page of a website. So if you are want to add the more pages, just go to sample, go to add the web form. So I will add it as a second form. So you can see this is your second form. Now if you want to create a code for a second form, you can create. So this is how we can create a web application using C Sharp .NET uh, in a Visual Studio and the ASP.NET. Using the ASP.NET through the Visual C Sharp, we can create an web application or a website or a web project, and we can design through a source code, also design a window. And this is all about the first application in a ASP.NET. Thank you.